Hello, everyone. It's Crystal, the organisation queen from KCS, and today I am so very excited to be joined by our international guest, Ashley Buffer, who is from the Freedom Mums. She's located in Virginia in the USA. Hi, Ashley.
Hello, thank you so much for having me today.
You are very welcome. I know that a lot of people are very excited to hear what you have to say. So, give us a little bit about your background and Freedom Mums and what it's all about.
Okay, so I like to call myself a home systems expert. And the only reason that I have the audacity to call myself an expert is because I have 10 children. I feel like that gives me the street cred. So 10 children. I have not always been, I was not born organized. I was not born someone who loved cleaning. I actually told my mom when I was a teenager that I didn't need to learn how to clean because I was going to marry a rich man and have a live-in maid. And so I didn't need to know how to do any of this. So I didn't actually follow through on that plan at all. So it turns out I did need to actually learn how to do all of this stuff. And then once I had several children, I realized, well, this is really more work than one woman can handle. What am I supposed to do now? So after years and years and years and years of trial and error, I developed systems in my home to where we were all working together, not just me, not just the kids. We all work together. And, I've been using the same system now for a good solid 5 to 6 years. And it's so easy now. And so I wanted to share this with the world, basically, because, if a mom with 10 kids who homeschools and runs her own business can have a home that runs like clockwork, basically, then I feel like any mom can have that. And any mom should have that if they want to have it. So I started sharing my systems with the world, and here I am. And it's wonderful and it's beautiful. And it's really exciting to see so many different moms realizing the same success that I have. So that's me.
Great. And just out of curiosity, how old is your oldest child, and how old is your youngest child?
My oldest will be 18 in November. So he's
Yeah, good. Yes.
and my youngest is 6 months old. So I have the full spectrum of ages right now.
Yes, you do. And I'm sure that a lot of people who are watching are just going to be like, wow, my life is definitely not as hard as what yours possibly could be. In Australia, I think the average family has 2 to 4 kids. 4 is pretty maximum average.
Yeah.
So I can imagine a lot of mums that might jump on and watch are going to be like 10.
Well, I have to tell you, it's funny because whenever I'm out in public, if I see a mom with like 4 younger children, I'm like, oh my gosh, she has got her hands full. She must be so busy. I'm like, oh wait. So I mean, like, seriously, when you have young kids, like, your hands are full no matter how many you have. So I still am like, wow, she has got her work cut out for her.
And I guess you have your own little helpers all built in too, with having, the older kids and the younger kids at the same time. So
We all pitch in. It's a group effort.
yeah. All right. Let's jump in to our first kind of topic about how running your home is like running your business.
Yes. So when I was first really, really trying to get these systems under control in my home, it finally dawned on me, well, Ashley, you've gotten your business, you've got systems in your business that help you to run it in such a way that everything is organized and everything gets done on time and you're not missing deadlines and you're communicating with your people properly. And it dawned on me why you're struggling so much in your home. Why aren't you doing this at home? Because, you have it's the same hierarchy, right? I'm the CEO of my business. I'm the CEO of my home. I have a team in my business. I have a team in my home. My business needs leadership. My home needs leadership. We use SOPs in my business. We should be using SOPs in our home. Like it just all finally clicked. And so that was the foundation where I started. I was like, oh, so maybe if I take all of these principles that have made me successful in business and I translate those to being successful in my home, maybe that is the way to realize success. And it has been. It has been.
And how long ago was that you had that aha moment?
So that was probably a good 10 years ago when I was first getting my business running. It wasn't the Freedom Mom stuff. I was doing marketing for other online entrepreneurs. And, I quickly realized because, when you're learning how to run an online business, you hear all of those terms all the time. Oh, you have to have your SOPs and, and so it's a
fun. Yeah.
Right. I mean, if you're starting a business, that's what you do. But I had never heard that same thought process translated into running the home. And I was like, well, if I'm going to have a successful business, I need to have a successful home because what's the point? What am I working for? If my home is in shambles and, my feet stick to the kitchen floor as I'm walking through, like, that's the life I'm trying to.
If you were at the office, you would be appalled if you were walking through the kitchen and there were sticky floors. So, yeah, I completely understand. And as we were chatting earlier, it's such a different mentality that I think most people don't even make that transfer from business to personal life. And probably for a couple of reasons where, when you get home, it's your safe place. Mm-hmm. And the last thing you want to be doing is perceived working.
Right.
So how did you, get past that mentality and get it to be such a success that it is right now?
So much trial and error. And I knew, because here's the thing, like I've read all the books. I've read all of the home management books. I subscribed to Good Housekeeping and Better Homes and Gardens and Martha Stewart. Like I knew so many people before me have tried to crack this code. And yet there are still millions and millions of women having trouble implementing. So I was like, I'm going to have to figure out, I'm going to have to basically reinvent the wheel here. Mm-hmm. And so I knew, like going into it, Ashley, you're going to fail over and over and over and over again. But that's part of the process, right? So we're doing an experiment here. And that was my attitude going into it. And I think as women, a lot of times we take it personally. Like if we do something and we fail, we're like, oh my gosh, I must just not have what it takes to be able to do this, right? But I knew, like, nope, that's not it. I know I have what it takes. I have what it takes. I just have to figure out how. So I did. I just started. I would try one thing at a time. I would isolate it. I would A/B test it, basically. Start trying one thing at a time, and then try to make it a little bit better. I used marketing principles, to find the perfect secret sauce. It wasn't a Facebook ad. Instead, it was like my home.
Yeah.
And I kept track of everything that worked and everything that didn't work. And then I started pairing things in different combinations to see, well, can I make this a little bit better? Can I make this a little bit more enjoyable for all of us? And I finally, it took me a solid 3 years before I had like a workable system that I was really happy with and that I stopped making changes to. But it was that attitude of just because I fail doesn't mean I'm failing. Like I'm getting one step closer to success. So I'm going to keep going until I can figure this out. Because, in the words of Marie Forleo, everything is figure outable. Like running your home is figure outable. This is not rocket science by any means. Like I couldn't do rocket science, but I can do this. So that was really the attitude that I went into it. And, I think too, like a side benefit of that was it was really good for my kids to see me like attacking this with such, veracity and just refusing to give up. Like it's good when our kids see us try and fail and keep trying and failing, right? That's like
you're human too. It's definitely an issue where our kids think we're these heroes that can do no wrong, and we make mistakes.
Yeah. Success that involves mistakes. I think for some reason, like a lot of our kids think that the path to success is just success. Like you're either good at it or you're not. And that is not true. That's not true at all. So I feel like it's a good model for our kids to see us in that struggle, but refusing to give up. So it's, side benefit.
And when you started, how many kids did you have, and how did they respond to you, I guess, all of a sudden going from nothing to everything?
When I first started trying to figure it out, my sixth child was a baby. And yeah, and we did very much, because at that point I was really working way too many hours. I was basically burning myself out. And so the house was tribute, right? The house was the sacrifice. Like I didn't have time to worry about it. I couldn't
Laundry
worry.
room that just looked like
Yeah.
it exploded. Yeah.
And I actually had a housekeeper that was coming in once a week to clean. And I was like, this is amazing. And then, like, 30 minutes after she would leave, it was not amazing any longer. And I realized, like, part of this is that I don't know how to maintain that clean,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because, like, I'm a huge fan of getting help in the house. Like, I'm a huge fan, but I'm not a huge fan of paying several $100s a week for like an hour.
It only lasts an hour.
Right.
Yes.
So I tell the ladies that are in my program, like, if you can afford a housekeeper, absolutely get one. It will make your life so much better. You'll really enjoy your life more. However, you have to learn how to keep it that way and how to get your kids to help you keep it that way, because otherwise you're just kind of wasting money. So, it's that balance between, what can I and what should I be doing on my own with the kids, and what can I call help in for? Because, and it's so much more than that. Everything that I'm talking about, it's really so much more than just the, what I'm mentioning it. Because, if you are able to afford having help in the house, you're giving someone else a job, right? So that's a good thing. Like, if you can afford to outsource that, you're only benefiting yourself and another person. So it's a good thing. Like, I'm tired of hearing about women feeling like giving themselves a guilt trip because they're hiring someone to help, like they're less than. It's like, no. This is a good thing. It's good. You just need to learn how to maintain it during the week so that you can fully realize the benefits of that.
Yes. And so I guess in business, what I teach is that there's this hierarchy of systems where your policies sit at the top, and then your standard operating procedures under that, and then all of your forms and your checklists and your registers and all of that sort of stuff. So how does that hierarchy from your business transfer into your home?
Yes, good question. So at the top is mom and dad, right? And we're responsible for the standards for our own home. And, a lot of moms are like, can you tell me exactly what my standards should be? I'm like, no, I cannot, because it's different. Like, some things are going to matter a lot to me. Like, for example, my baseboards, for some reason, I'm super hung up on my baseboards. I hate dirty baseboards. But my windows and mirrors at any given time have smudges on them. Like, I don't really care. It doesn't bother me. Whereas another parent is going to be like, oh no, those windows, honey, you are not doing well in your life right now. But her baseboards are dirty, right? So every home is going to have different standards of cleanliness, and they're going to have different levels of like what they want their kids doing, because my kids actually have less chores than a family that has, just 2 or 3 children are going to have, right? Because I've got a lot of people to spread the load out. It's a benefit. It's a zillion kids. So, each family has to come up with their own standards, right? And then the other thing that mom and dad are like really, really responsible for is the attitude in your home. What is that attitude going to be? Because one of the foundations of my system is that our family is a team and we work together, which means if one of us is working, we are all working until the job is done, so that then we can all do what we want to do instead of one person. It used to be mom, one person doing all of the work, feeling completely disenfranchised with life, wanting to run away from home, not being able to wait until her kids have flown the nest so that she can like get her life back, right? We don't want anybody feeling like that. We want everybody to be like, yeah, we're a family, we're a team, we're going to work together, let's get this done. So that attitude, that comes from the top, and you have to really be very, very purposeful about sowing that attitude into your home and into the environment. And it all starts up here. And so many times, one thing that I realized that I was really doing, that I had to stop doing if I wanted that team mentality, was I had to stop playing the martyr. Yep. Meaning I had to stop being like, why am I the only person that cares about how clean the house is? Why am I the only person that ever takes out the trash? Nobody is, and if somebody dares to help with the martyr mentality, it's never good enough. Like, do you not see what you left behind? So like the mom really sets the tone. Yes. Because you can't expect your children to behave in a way that you are not behaving as an example, right? So yes. if mom is always saying, why am I the only one always doing all the work? Then when you ask your children to start helping, they'll be like, oh, well, I didn't make that mess. I don't want to pick that up. I didn't do that. I didn't do that. It's like, they're learning that from someone. So mom is in charge of setting the tone and, setting the standards, and then making sure that those standards are actually carried out. And the way that we do that is through the SOPs for the different chores. So,
you actually have written SOPs.
Yes. And they're laminated. Yes, absolutely. For all of the different things. And it's really good because in order for a child to be able to rise to a challenge, they have to fully understand what the challenge is, right? Mm-hmm. So you can't just say, hey, go clean that bathroom. Well, what does that mean? Like, when is it clean? Can I fake it enough to where mom thinks it's, whereas if you have a written standard with check boxes and they go down in chronological order, at the end of it, they have a clean bathroom and they know they do. All they have to do is follow the steps. And then if mom steps in to inspect the work and knows that something is awry, all you have to do is say, well, which one of these steps didn't you do? Because we both know that this is not clean. And then they have to find it and fix it. It eliminates the whole, well, my kid will do the job, but it's only halfway done. Well, that's because they need to know what the standard is. They need to have it in front of them, follow the steps. Then they have the standard, they can meet the standard. So SOPs are super duper important for everything. We even have an SOP for cleaning out the van, because otherwise.
Oh, it's a bugbear of mine, getting into people's cars that have kids, and it's like a bomb site. And I get in and I'm like, I don't want to get in this car. Yeah. And so with your SOPs, do you have pictures on your SOPs as well for your little ones that can't read?
Well, I don't personally have that because my little ones, the jobs that they do are not difficult enough to require an SOP. But there's actually one of the moms in our group. She found this really amazing tool, and I can't remember what it was. I'll have to look it up. But
that's right. If you look it up, just for everyone watching and whoever watches again, we will put all the links that we talk about in the chat box as well. So everyone will definitely have access to those after the fact.
But it's a website, and you can make your SOPs with pictures, and it's perfect. And it's really helpful too. We have a lot of moms in our program with children on the spectrum. Mm-hmm. And some of those children are to the point where they're not reading yet, and they just really need the pictures really help so much. And SOPs work wonders for children on the spectrum, because those children, when they have clear expectations and very clear steps and structure, that is where they really, really thrive. And so the SOPs, they make these children so happy, because finally it's like, oh, I understand now what you're asking me to do. You've quantified it, so it's a really, really good fit. But yeah, I'll find the link for you and give it to you, because this one mom has done lots and lots of SOPs for her younger ones with all of the little pictures. So
great. Do you have anything else you want to talk about in terms of how you liken running your home and running your business, or shall we jump on to the next
Let's
topic?
jump on to the next topic.
Next one. So the next one is all about your family is a team.
Yes.
So what do you mean by that?
Yes. So I touched on this just a little bit before, but family being team is really the key to making the whole chore system work. And the way that I realized this was I was reading to my children the Little House on the Prairie books, specifically the book Farmer Boy. And the Laura Ingalls Wilder goes into so much detail in that book about this farm family and how, like, everybody, they all had so much work to do to keep this farm working. And even Almanzo, when he was like 7 or 8 years old, was out there milking like cows, like huge cows, and doing like a man's amount of work, like really hard labor. But they all did tons and tons and tons and tons of work, and they all worked together as a team. Nobody was like complaining about how much they had to do. And then in the evening, they all sat around the fire and they ate popcorn and they drank their cider and they were resting together. And so that's when it kind of clued me into the fact, like, first of all, I'm not requiring nearly enough out of my kids. If Almanzo is out there doing all that when he's 8 years old, like, my kid can clean a bathroom. But it beautifully illustrated the way that if a family can work together, they can accomplish so much more than if everybody's just out for themselves, right? That's not what family is supposed to be about. Just everyone out for themselves, off doing their own thing. We're supposed to be working together for a common goal. And what better goal is there than creating a comfortable home, clean, comfortable home where we all can relax and enjoy each other together? So that's where that whole motto came in. And then I realized, like, if we have different times throughout the day where we all stop what we are doing and work towards that common goal in a structured way, this house will just stay clean. Like, it's magic, if we all work together, and it takes so much less time. One of my neighbors, actually, she has 4 children, and she was running herself ragged because she was doing all of the housework, all of the cooking, everything, while her family was sitting in there having a family movie night without her because she was still cleaning up the kitchen from the meal that she had made herself. And she was like, this is terrible. This is not right. And I was like, oh, you're right. That isn't right. So I gave her my system. I was like, you need to do this. And she called me back 2 weeks later, like in tears. She was like, our house has completely transformed just by that motto. Family is team. We all work together, and we're able to get dinner cleaned up in like less than 15 minutes every night. Whereas before it took me like an hour and a half, and I always miss family movie night. So she said, that she really had a huge epiphany on what family is team, like what it actually gets you is so much less time. And then those feelings that she was having of, my whole family, like, they don't even see me as like a person to be respected, and like as a mother who, mom should be revered, right? They didn't see her that way. They just saw her as the lady that was cleaning up everything and fixing all the food. And that is that is not motherhood. That is not my definition of motherhood. So it's really, really powerful when the whole family starts working together, because then everybody can appreciate everybody else's work and the load is spread. And everything happens faster and more efficiently that way. So it's super, super powerful once you have that mind shift that, no one single person should be doing all of this. Let's all work together and get it done quickly and efficiently. And then we can move on to the next fun thing.
Yeah. And do you have systems and chores in your home that multiple kids have to do together?
Yes. Yes.
How does that work with different personalities and people in different moods? And
well, part of it is, and this is really big, because I'm really big on life skills too. All of this has a greater purpose, which is teaching my kids the life skills they're going to need to go off and be successful in the world, because nobody's living in my basement when they're 30 years old. Like, you are go conquer the world somewhere else. Right?
Yeah.
So it's really important to me that my children have the skills that they're going to need. And one of those skills is people skills, right? Because unless you're like a hacker that is just like working from home, you're going to have to learn how to deal with all sorts of different people. Right? And so from day one, like I'm driving this home. You know, your brothers and your sisters are your friends, they're your family. You have to learn how to get along with each other, because you know there's always going to be someone in life that is not on the same wavelength as you, that you don't get along with, that you have different political beliefs on, that you know you have different life philosophies, you know, that choose their food too loud. I mean, you know, whatever it may be on any given day, there's always people out there that get on our nerves. So we have to be able to deal with those people. So there's a lot of instruction that's constantly going on there. But once everybody realizes like, oh, this is here to stay, Mama's not kidding, she's not giving up on this one. They all kind of just put their noses down and get the work done, because they realize like the faster we work, the faster we're done. And that's what it really comes down to. So those personalities, like there might be some pushback in the very beginning, but it goes away. Once they know that mom is serious and she's not giving up, like they just buckle down and do the work.
Great. And so I guess I'm really excited to learn how to implement those systems now in your home so that people can, you know, tangibly walk away from this conversation and go, right, yes. this is changing.
Yes. So the very best place that I found for people to get started immediately is with something we like to call in the Freedom Moms group, the 5-minute family cleanup. And so 5 minutes, it doesn't seem like enough. And if your house is a wreck right now, it really may not be enough, but it is enough to get you started and get that momentum going. So there's a few parameters around what a 5-minute family cleanup actually is. So it involves an actual timer, and you actually set your timer for 5 minutes. And when the timer goes off, you are actually done and you release your kids, as long as they are focused and they're doing it with a good attitude. If someone's giving you attitude, or if someone's just like walking around in circles staring at the ceiling, then they have to do another 5 minutes. But when the timer is done, you release them. The benefit of this is they actually get to see how little time 5 minutes is, but how much they can get accomplished if they're all working together. So it's a really, really powerful tool. The other thing that you have to make sure that you do is you're all in one room. So you're not like, okay, kids, 5 minutes, like spread out and let's clean this place up. You won't see any actual progress. You all need to be in like one, like the living room, the family room is like a great place, or the kitchen is a great place to do it. And everyone is in there and everyone is just focused on working as hard as possible for 5 minutes. The third thing that's super important is to have on some upbeat music that everyone will enjoy, because even if your kid like walks into that room and they're like, I can't believe we're having to do this, if you put on some fun, upbeat music, they are going to work and they're going to do it faster than they would if, you know, you didn't have any music on at all. And it helps to completely change the mood in the room. So it's really, really important. And what ends up happening about 50% of the time, whenever a new mom in the Freedom Moms group tries this out, about 50% of the time, this is what she reports back. They begged me for more time. They wanted me to set the timer for another 5 minutes. Like, I cannot believe this. Who are my children? Like, this is crazy. And it's because they enjoyed themselves and they saw the progress. And what happens is a lot of times in 5 minutes, you don't get the room. The first time you don't get the room totally cleaned up, but the kids are enjoying themselves and they're super focused and they want to finish the job. And it's amazing and it's magical. So that is the best way to get started right now. And anybody can do that. You just have to remember to do those 3 things. Use the timer, focus in one room, and have some upbeat music on. And it's really amazing what can happen.
That sounds exciting. And I would, you know, anyone that does watch this, I'd be really curious to see how it goes for you. So definitely put a comment on our post so that we can hear back about that. Actually, half an hour has absolutely flown by. We literally have 2 minutes to go. So I guess we wanted to provide everyone with access to the link that's on the screen at the moment, which is a warm barometer. Can you quickly explain what people will get at that link, Ashley?
Yes. So it's basically a 2-page printable, and you can print it out. And if you're feeling like stressed and overwhelmed, basically what you do is you go down this list of questions, and it's kind of like a priorities. It centers you on where are you getting frustrated, and then what do you actually do about it. So the first page, it's asking you the different questions to try and like focus in on what the actual problem is that's causing you to be stressed out and overwhelmed. And then you go to the next page and you see the simple solution. And it's not like a complete solution because it's only one page. However, it's enough to get you going in the right direction. And what I found is if you can eliminate that blockage that's causing the overwhelm in whichever area it is, if you can get rid of that big blockage, then it opens up your mind to be able to figure out the rest of it. You know, if you can get rid of that one thing that is just causing you to be so overwhelmed that you can't even think straight, then your brain will be able to solve the rest of the problem. So it's a powerful tool. It's simple, but it's powerful.
Yes. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ashley, for taking time at the end of your day when you've probably got 10 crazy kids running around in the background somewhere. Everyone.
That's why it's so quiet.
Yes, I know everyone in Australia is probably crazily running around trying to watch and be engaged while they've got their kids eating breakfast at the moment, going to school. So thank you very much. The recording will be available on all of our social media channels as per normal. So Ashley, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
That's all right. Bye, everyone.